Heathens, it's Liz, and I'm here with the Nameless One Tarot and Oracle deck by Zia Hunt. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Xia is her first name. Wow. I don't know if you've seen any reviews of this deck yet, but it is enormous. But I will say, okay, let me back up. I received this a few days ago and I kind of opened it up. I didn't take it out of the wrapping or anything because I wasn't sure if I wanted it. And because I had seen like one or two, like one flip through and one review, and how big everything was, and like storage problems, and what am I going to do with this? Am I actually going to use it? Can I even shuffle it? So I kind of like set it aside for a few days and thought about it, and I watched a few more reviews and a few more flip throughs, and then I said, you know what, I have to open it. I have to see how I feel about it. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like I ordered it for a reason, and I really want to make sure that I know for sure whether or not I want something. I don't want to assume I'm not going to like it because it's big or some other issue. And I went through it last night, and I have to say it's like breathtaking. I don't even care about the size. It actually makes it like unique and special in that way. So we're gonna talk about it a little bit. We'll go through the cards. I wanted to take a little bit of time and like talk about some of the symbolism. I haven't really seen anybody really talk about the symbolism so much yet. I mean, I haven't watched every single review out there, but so let's take a look at the extras first. I also received an envelope with my name on it that just included the receipt and, you know, stuff like that. So here are some of the coins that we got. This is a pendant, and it's super cute. I'm not sure if I'm gonna wear it because I don't typically wear like things that are like copper, but it kind of does look like rose gold in a way, so I do wear that sometimes. Here we have a few coins. This one is the fox, which is the magician. And this one, I know that there's like rabbits and maybe a couple of them. There's like one where the rabbit is upside down, but it's not the hanged man. And there's also the 10 of cups. So that one's really pretty. And, you know, I guess I could use it for yes or no, for upright and reverse or something like that. I typically don't read reversals, but, and then you have your Ouroboros here, which is super pretty. So there's that. And we have this beautiful bag. It's huge. Like, here's my hand and here's the bag. So it's pretty big, but it's a beautiful, lovely, like felt, and it's lined inside. It's very nice. I will be keeping it in there. Here's the deck. The Grimoire, it came in this like cardboard box, and it was kind of smashed up on one corner. Where is it? Like right there. That, I don't know. It kind of does bother me, and if you can see right there, that's the corner that got smashed. I don't know. It's like she took such great care in bubble wrapping everything that you would think it would prevent stuff like this. And it seems to me like I get several decks like that where it's like a bashed corner. I know it's not like, you know, something I want to complain about. It's just kind of a little annoyance. So this grimoire is fabric lined with, it's like embroidered in this silver. It's beautiful. It's very nice to touch. And it comes with this like ribbon for your bookmark and stuff. Let's actually talk about this a little bit more. I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy having this because it's so big, but it has so much awesome information. It has lots of like details on the symbolism and the colors that were chosen for it. And it's got this huge full color, you know, print of the card itself, so you can really like see all the details and everything. And it's got your little affirmation or poem, and it has that too in the small guidebook that comes with it. But it has all of these correspondences, which is pretty awesome, and how you can use the sigil. Like, you know, the symbolism really isn't discussed in the small guidebook. And so, you know, for the like the fox in The Magician, so she'll talk about what the fox means. And there's another one that has a rooster, and I wasn't sure why she chose a rooster for that, but reading about it in the Grimoire made total sense to me, and I'm so glad that I got it. If I ever do, you know, put together an altar or something, this would be such a like beautiful addition to that. This gorgeous large book. Oh, here it is. Here it is. What is this? This is the Three of Wands. Here's that rooster I was talking about. So I wasn't sure like what the symbolism of the rooster was. And so here she talks about it being masculine and a positive symbol. And then like it talks about like how it's the symbology of it in different cultures. And then it illustrates good fortune mirrored and reinforced by the good sense to remain vigilant over our prosperity. And that's kind of like what the Three of Wands, or the Three of Branches in this case, is all about. It's like overlooking our success and our good fortune, and just being vigilant and staying grateful and proud, and knowing that even though this is the beginning, that we've just started to bear fruit, we have to tend to the roots of our endeavors as well. So I enjoy it. Now, I was really searching hard about these quartz, and I don't have a problem with identifying the suit for the particular quart, but I think I'm going to have an issue with differentiating them from each other in the same suit. Like when I pull this, like I'm looking at this right now, and I want to assume this is the Queen of Cups. Is that true? Yes, the Queen of Cups. Okay. And I think it's because I've seen it already. But like if you look at the Knight, it's not really the Knight. It's either there's two princes and there's two princesses. This is the prince. So totally different color, totally different. So here you have your blues and your purples, and then you have kind of like this like dark burgundy and greens. So the colors are different too. And I think she talks about that. The colors, let's see. It's not specific, but here we have blue, red, orange, and black. So I guess that's what this is, but it doesn't talk about like what those colors mean as they do with the other cards. So how am I supposed to tell the difference between this Prince of Cups and the Queen of Cups, other than by memorizing it by look? That's going to be a challenge for me. Now, I do know that these little circles, I don't think it pertains to that here, but these little circles will tell you how many in that suit there are. So the Three of Cups will have three circles. Oh, you don't see it. Three circles in the sigil, somewhere in the sigil. So you'll know, even though you can tell from the picture that the Three of Cups is the Three of Cups, you'll also have three circles to tell you what that is. And I kind of wish that the same thing had been done for the quartz. So I can tell that this is water because you can see water, but then for the prince there should be two. So 1 dot for the jester, 2 dots for the prince or the princess, 3 for the queen, and 4 for the king. I wish that had been incorporated in the sigil, and that would have totally like made this problem completely go away for me. But it is what it is. All right, let's take a look at the deck. So it's pretty big, but I gotta say there's 30 oracle cards too in here. Of course you can use any of the tarot cards as an oracle as well, which is the point of the whole thing. But there's 30 specific oracle cards, and so it's like tarot and oracle in one. So I'm going to plan on keeping them separate and then pulling an oracle card to kind of clarify my reading. I do not intend to do any more than a 3-card reading with this deck unless I have all the space in the world, which I don't, because they are so big. I plan on overhanding them this way, not like sideways, but long ways. And I haven't really tried that yet because I didn't want to mess up the order. And I'm kind of hesitant yet to do that because I want to get to know the deck a little bit better in order before I start doing that. But I will say the oracle cards are super practical. Like, there's different ones. There's one for luck. There's one for health. There's one for creativity. There's one for prosperity and gratitude and inspiration. And I just thought that it was so, like, wow, like very action item oriented oracle cards, and I really appreciate that. So I've seen a couple people complain about this box, and it's not really magnetic, and it's got this tie. So I was thinking about it last night, and I kind of thought to myself that this is kind of part of the ritual of the deck, is actually tying it. So you close it and then you tie it, and then it's like you're securing that energy back into the box almost. It's like until next time type of thing. So I don't particularly mind that at all. It does feel like, you can hear that, right? It almost feels like there is a magnet in there somewhere. And I think there is, because I am meeting resistance when I pull up on it. So that's good, but you can't like tip it over and not expect the weight of it to just bust it through, you know? And this one, it does kind of stop right there. It's not completely 90 degrees, but it gives you a little bit of wiggle room in there. And I notice, like, when I do that, like, it kind of like, can you see like the difference here in the crease versus right here? So there's that. And I hope that that doesn't become a problem over time. But the inside of the box, it says, every time this sigil is seen, more power do the nameless glean. By the might of land, wind, flame, and sea, to powers untold I hold the key. As I have willed, so shall it be. And there's like extra space in here, so hopefully that doesn't become a problem. Here is the guidebook, and it's good. You know, it gives you enough to kind of go with it, but I'm a sucker for symbolism. Like, I want to know why certain things were chosen. And it's beautiful. It's like full color, and it gives you the sigil affirmation, which I love, and it gives you some keywords, a description, and the reverse meaning. And oh, and here's like a sticker that I was just using as a bookmark. I was kind of going through some of the oracle cards. So as you'll see, the oracle cards are in the back, and this is about beauty. So this one's about beauty. I am beautiful and others find me attractive. This one's about the keeper of secrets and privacy, and I am wealthy. So this is about wealth. This is about protection and magic, and being creative and being artistic and stuff like that. So I thought that was really awesome. Let's see if it has any spreads. Let's see, it's in the back probably. Yep, so there's spreads in there, which is really cool. And yep, so there's that. So this is kind of chunky too, which is nice to have. And let's get to the cards. Okay, so here is both the tarot and the oracle together. I have separated it by using the certificate of authenticity. I probably won't keep it like this because I don't want this to get damaged, but I'll find a way. Maybe I'll use like the sticker or something to separate, but this was actually pretty, like, the right size, and you can see it, so it's a good separator. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm going to put the oracle cards aside for now. And so here is the 78 cards of the deck. Black edging, matte finish, And I'm gonna, come right back, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab her other deck, the Children of Litha. I have both the gold and the black edition, and I'll kind of compare card stocks with you, and then you'll also be able to see like the difference in size between this deck and a standard tarot. Okay, I am back. Let's compare card sizes first. So this is the Fool compared to the Fool of the Centennial Rider-Waite. You can see how much wider and how much taller it is. So it's a big boy, and that's okay. And again, I held off from opening it because I wasn't sure I wanted to keep it, but I really do. Here is the Nameless One, and here's the Children of Litha. This is the gold edition, this is the black edition. Let's open it up, and then you can kind of see the variance in cardstock. Now, I don't know if you have this deck or what, but I had also thought to pair them together. I'm not even sure if I'm really going to do that, because this deck kind of definitely stands alone, and it has its own oracle cards, so in that way I'll have everything I need. All right, so for the finish, we have our gold edition, which is a matte, and then this is a matte. And as you can see, this is a little bit more matte than the Children of Litha Gold Edition. This one has a bit more of a shine. And you hear that? That's kind of how that sounds. This kind of has a little more grip to it. And then this one is the most matte of all three. So let's take a look at that all together. So you have your shiny, middle, and like completely matte. Like, it's a very, very soft rose petal finish. It's not terrible. It does still kind of chunk on me, but kind of so does this too a little bit when I overhand. I don't riffle shuffle this. So let's take a look at the edges. So you have your gold, you have your black, and you have your black. So there's that. I just wanted to kind of show that before I went into the deck, just in case anybody was curious about the difference in the cardstocks. I was up for way longer than I expected to be, just kind of going through this deck in the quiet, in the dark. Well, I wasn't in the dark, but it was nighttime. I had light on, obviously, but it was just like definitely a bonding experience. So let's go ahead and zoom in. So we have the Fool, we have our Venus flytrap, we have our white butterfly, kind of like the white dog in the Rider-Waite Smith. We have our sigil. Now, sigils, there's power in them because as you're creating them, or as you're writing them, or as you're drawing them in salt or sand or with a pen, I bought this little cauldron so that I could burn the parchment that I would write the sigil on. And it's super cute. So I bought this a long, long time ago, probably like over a year ago. Because in her Kickstarter video, you see her drawing with like this fountain pen, and then she just like rips it out, and then she sets the parchment on fire, and then she lets it burn for a little bit, and then with her tongs that have like silicone at the end of them, she just kind of like swirled it into this like bowl or cauldron or something to put it out to release the energy. And it was just, like I was sold. These sigils are pretty intricate. Now, I've also heard people say, well, if I'm going to do sigil magic, I'm going to make my own sigils. I don't have any experience in that, but I like the intentionality of doing that. I'm not sure if I would be able to draw these like by eye. I did send Zia an email suggesting if she had the time or whatever to put together a PDF of each individual sigil that the users of the Nameless One could print out and then just trace. So if the PDF like sketch was lighter, and then our pen could go over the sigil itself and darken it so that it would be our own, that would be awesome, because then I really wouldn't have to kind of like try and replicate it by hand or by eye, and then it looks like totally not what this looks like. And so I haven't heard back, but I'm hopeful that you might consider doing that, because I thought that'd be pretty cool. Let's look at the backs. It's got this beautiful, like, I don't know what you call it, hot stamping or cold stamping of silver here. It's very, very pretty. And we have our magician. We have all our elements. We have our fox, who can be, you know, crafty, but also gets things done. And I love the color palette of this deck. There's not really a particular color dedicated to each suit or each, you know, court, which kind of makes things a little bit more challenging. That's another thing I wish. Yes, I know different colors have different symbolisms, but it would have been really helpful. You can pretty much tell what the suit is, because you can count the elements that are there in the card itself. But especially for the courts, it would have been so helpful to have the same colors for each of them. We have our squirrel, we have our moon, and we have our crow. And the Empress. Now, the pomegranate could go for either the High Priestess or the Empress, but I know how it has such symbolism regarding abundance and just the seed of life, you know. And you have our wheat here. And I love that there's a sword with the Empress, because the Empress isn't all about giving. She's very clear about her intentions as well. Here we have our Emperor. Now, I hope I get these right. I hope I have these in order. I mean, not that they're in order, but I hope I'm calling them out for what they are. And you have your ram. And I love that there's like so many bones and things in this deck. And she doesn't shy away from showing blood either, which I don't have a problem with, because to me, I'm fully comfortable with the understanding that life is not always easy, and there are hardships and things that we would prefer not to look at. And that, to me, is what that is a reminder of. We have the Hierophant, and it's just like, you can see like the colors just pop off of that black so well. You have your incense and you have your columns that indicate the institution of religion as well. And I grew up Catholic, so I'm very familiar with this thing right here, and I can almost smell it right now just looking at it. And I kind of like you almost feel like you're like, what's in the black? Like, what's behind this? What secrets are there? And here we have the Lovers, and you have your live bird and your dead bird. And so I think it has to do with like merging the inner and the outer and joining as one. And then the roots here come down and grow strong. Here you have your Chariot, and this is reversible with different colors, so that's pretty cool. I enjoy that a lot. I love her horses. Like, her Chariot in the Children of Litha is pretty awesome too. Strength. Now, you can see this poor lion has been impaled in his hand, his paw, and he's asking for help, perhaps. So the strength to be vulnerable and the strength to overcome your fear in order to help. Beautiful Hermit card. I love this lantern here and the wisdom of the owl and the night and the crescent moon there as well. This one is the Wheel of Fortune. The way I can tell is because of this, and it does look like a wheel, but you have your snakes intertwining, coming and going, and the Ouroboros here as well, with the snake eating its tail. So it's like a double-ended snake with two heads. Justice, weighing the heart, and a feather, weighing the heart to see how light it is or how heavy it is. The Hanged Man, we have our spiny fish here, hooked there. I don't think there's much other symbolism besides that going on here. I'm sure there's more in the Grimoire, which I haven't obviously fully gone through because I just opened it last night. I love the scythe here and the cutting of the cord here. Of course, you have your moths, and some people like that, some people don't, but there's a lot of them actually in this deck for a variety of different cards. Temperance, about to test the waters and take the middle road. We have the Devil, and you can see these like bat-like wings or dragon-like wings here in the sigil too with the chain. Awesome. The Tower, very intricate tower. The Tower in the Children of Litha is very similar in my mind. We have the Star. Did I say, was death one of them? Did I say the death with the cutting? I don't know if I said devil or something, but the one with the scissors, that was death. Here's the Star and the Moon. So you get like this moth thing going on with these three cards especially. And you also see that this celestial body gets bigger. So from the stars where it's smaller, bigger, and biggest, which is awesome. And I enjoy the coloration here and the opposition of colors here between the moon and the sun. I know these flowers are going to have impact. Actually here, if you look, here's the crescent moon here in the sigil. Oh, wait. Here's the star in the sigil here. Here's the moon, and here's the sun right there in the center. Judgment, calling all the souls to its final, self-confrontation, self-understanding, self-awareness. And the World, and we have our Ouroboros here as well with the butterflies for purity and new beginning, and I'm sure there's so much more to understand. And I like this sigil here. It feels very like sacred geometry. These came with the king first, and in the Grimoire and in the smaller guidebook, the king is first, queen, and then prince or princess, and then the jester. But since I'm used to seeing the jester first, that's how I ordered it here. So you have your jester, but we're not into the suit yet. So let me set this aside here, and we'll go through that after we do the suit. So in the sigil itself, you have the symbol of the element. So you have your line through, and each one you'll have the triangle and either the line or not having the line. So here's that moth again with the ace and the ace of swords and the crown and the laurels. Two of swords, I love this. The blindfold. I feel like these two dots, so here's the one dot, here's two. So you know exactly that this is two. This is the Two of Swords. And it's almost like you have to choose. Like here you have this little snake, and he's either going to go here or here, and he's made his decision. So it's kind of like a one way or the other. Here you have your three, and you get your little heart there in the center as a nod to Rider-Waite-Smith, and again with the snake eating its tail. Here's your Four of Swords, and I believe in the Children of Litha there is also a tombstone for the Four of Swords, which I don't really see the Four of Swords as that kind of an ending. It's more of a pause, mental pause for me, but I can definitely work with it. And I hope you're seeing these dots as they accumulate. Here's 5. So yeah, you have your hyena taking over like these dead corpses here. And he's got his 3 swords, and here's the 2 down here. Wow, look at the beautiful colors. Like, look at that, like, ombre effect of purple into the light purple and into the green here. It's so majestic. So you have, like, here's the feathers almost feel like water, like just the rush of the choppy waters. And then as we move into a new phase. Here you have your otter, I believe. If I get any of these animals wrong, please correct me, because I don't know all of these animals yet, but I look forward to reading about them and their meaning metaphysically. So you have your Seven of Swords, and or could this be a ferret? Because I know that ferrets kind of like have been used to grab things and be little thieves here for their owners. But we don't know why the taking is happening. Oh yeah, so here's that bunny in the Eight of Swords. So feeling trapped. So here it's like this dot is in here. So we want the dot to get out. Wow, like look at that Nine of Swords. Like, can you imagine waking up to that in your face? But our friend here is dead anyway, so I don't think it matters. And then we have our 10. And again, like I said, she's not afraid of like a little bit of blood here and there. And I don't mind that either. So we have our 8 here, our 8 swords, or like in this case, it almost feels like ribs, but they're the sides or scythes. And then you have the 2 up here. It almost feels almost Marseille. And then you have your 10 dots here. Okay, so let's talk about, here's the jester. And now you can see like these are like, this is like air, right? So it's like puffs of air everywhere. And here you have your symbol here with the line to symbolize air. Now I don't, also here you have the, in part of his hat, you can see the triangles as well. And then here you have your swords. I wish that all of the sigils kind of had that symbol, but some of them don't. And here you have your princess, and you have 2, and here's the queen. Now, like just by looking at it, right, you can kind of tell this feels a little bit more immature, but this one feels much more majestic with the wings here. But if I were to pull this like all by itself, would I know that this is the princess and not the queen? Because the king's much more elaborate, I feel like. Let's take a look at the king. So you can see there's much more adornments here. And of course the colors, like this and this kind of match with the purples, but this is a greenish blue. So I feel like I would really have to look. Okay, so there's the symbol. Yes, it's in the air suit. And here you have like, this almost does remind me of water though. So you really have to be careful to look at your elements here. Now I will say, I love the look of these quartz. And I feel like it goes with the vibe of the deck because they don't have any eyes. It's just the mask. Now, if you're talking about personality, is that not what a personality is? It's a mask. Because who we are deep down is so much grander, so much more powerful than who our ego tells us we are. So as these personalities come into play, whether it be ourselves or other people, they're only masks. They're only like a story or a fiction we tell ourselves about ourselves or other people. And so it's a beautiful, artistic, creative reminder of that. So I really do enjoy that. And again, like I'm going to set these aside so that we can kind of look at the gestures and see if there's anything in the sigil that matches. So like I could always say, oh yes, all of the gestures have this little half circle up here, but that I couldn't find that to be the case. I wish that was also something I could have identified. So I'm going to put those aside so we can kind of compare. Here's the Ace of Wands. Now, if you're looking at it, like, you can almost see more than one branch here. But again, all you have to do is look for that circle for the minors, and you'll know that this is the ace. And you have your salamanders here. Gorgeous, gorgeous. This is the suit of branches, not wands. You have your 2 dots. You have like the globe here, and look at that swirling ball of energy, like manifesting. What do you want to put out into the world and that sort of thing. So I love that. And here's the rooster, and we kind of talked about that earlier, just being vigilant over what you've created. The fruits of your labor is coming, but it's still very fragile and it needs tending to. Here we have the 4 branches. You have like that feeling of celebration and sharing. And here your olives, like, you know, I'm an Italian, and even in Italy, they plant the olives for the olive oil, which is obviously a big part of Italian culture as well. So you have that sense of home, you have that sense of rootedness in the olives. But, you know, if you wanted to think of them as any type of fruit or plant that you bring to the table, the hearth and the home, you could kind of look at it that way as well. Okay, so here we have 5 of branches, and you definitely get that conflict here. The 6. Now, of course, you can see the lion, but I also see a scorpion's tail. So it's like double-edged. You know, you're victorious, but can you take it too far as to sting yourself with your own sense of grandeur? Here you have the 7 of branches. Now you get that feel of like high ground, taking the high ground, you know, and I don't see that opposition that I usually am accustomed to seeing in the 7 of Wands or the 7 of branches, where the person on the higher ground has to fight off other usurpers from below. Don't see that here, but I do see like taking a higher stance for something that you feel that you're impassioned about. So you're flying the flag of whatever opinion that you have that you feel like you need to defend. And you have like the security of the castle as well. Here we have our 8, just that movement here, like look at that swirl here, and you have the 8 trees in the back. These are evergreens, so like they just continue to grow, and so you have that sense of you can rely on some things being the same at the same time as everything else around it is changing and moving. This is really cool. This 9 here, like this house is on claw legs, like a bird's leg with claws and things, and you have these skulls on the branches. Like, wow. It kind of reminds me of The Walking Dead, and you have your home that you have to defend, and you will go to whatever lengths you have to do to defend that home. Like, you can be family oriented and loving and kind, but at the same time you could be ruthless if you had to be. And then here you have your 10, and you have the world. Here's that same, I don't think it's the same design, but you have that idea of the swirling globe. So from the 2, here we have like a much larger version of that, holding up the earth. And then we have our quartz again. So let's take a look. So here is, you can see the branches, right? And here you have your triangle. So I didn't actually show, here's like, you see the triangle, but there's no line through it. So that is what wands or branches or fire, that's the symbol for that. And so you have that here in the hat. You have your sun to, you know, that brightening, that heat that is linked to the suit. And here you have those again. These look like flames. So you can kind of tell is what I'm trying to say. So if we compare these, this is swords. Now, if I were to look at this just straight away, I see green and it reminds me of like pentacles, like the earth, but that's not what this is. So that's something that I'm going to have to look for and get used to. Now, I don't see anything similar, but I take that back. I do see this line here and this line here, this line here and this line here as being the same. So let's hang on to that idea and see where that takes us. Now we're going to compare the Princess of Swords or Blades with the Prince of Branches. Now, I don't see anything particularly similar in the sigil here. Yeah, because this is like a point here. There's no point here. This is like the swirl here. There's no swirl here. Of course, you can tell you've got your fire, so you know what suit this is. But how do I know this isn't the queen? So there's that. And here's your queens. I guess, you know, from looking at it, so this is the Prince of Branches and this is the Queen of Branches. Now you have your sunflowers here, and that's definitely a nod to the sunflowers in the Rider-Waite-Smith for the Queen of Wands. So I guess you could know that. And you have your smaller flowers here. And then here's the majesty of the king. Like, look at those. Look at that. I mean, that's amazing. So let's put that aside and look at the queens here. I don't see the sigil as having anything in common. You have the symbol here at the forehead. There's more going on around the neck than the prince. But yeah, so that's that. And then you have the kings. Lots going on. Like this one looks like, you know, similar to the antlers of the horns here. I don't see anything in the sigil that would correspond with this being a king. All right, so you get the point here, right? So I don't have to do that again. So here's the Ace of Coins. Beautiful. One single dot. And you recall this from the coin here? Wait, oh no, that's not it. No, I think she had, as part of her Kickstarter, an add-on for these coins, and I thought I was getting one, but I wasn't sure, because I do kind of like the idea of like sun and moon, but we'll see. So there's balance there, and you have your Gothic architecture with the building of the cathedral, 3 dots, 3 coins. Very Rider-Waite-Smith right there. You have your 4 coins. Now, if you know anything about blackberries, there's thorns that come along with them. So you have that bearing of fruit, but you also have that stay away component as well. 5. Now in the 5 of the RWS, you have that like isolation from society. And I guess you get that feel here as well with the spider. It, you know, can be a very isolating existence when you're just hanging out on your own web waiting for food to come in. And at any time your home could be ripped away by the elements or by other animals or people. Awesome. There's the 6, the giving and receiving. Now, of course, I'm going to have to look into the symbolism here. You have your 7 and your harvest. Either it's time to harvest or it's almost time to harvest. It's or time to step back and take a look at what you have. Our 8 with the quill here and burning the midnight oil. We have a beautiful black cat, and just in the, you know, darkness, writing down and perfecting whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And we have our 9. Now, I was curious about, I did read about this a little bit and how rare it is, but at the same time, I think, what is it called? Like something beetle, silver beetle or something. And they are a symbol of prosperity, but in large numbers, they can become like pests. You have a lot, your resources are there, but try not to take over and, you know, take more than you need. And we have our 10, and here's our little rabbit family and the chest with the coins. We have our jester, and you can see the coins here. Yep, coin, and then you have your triangles there. Here's our princess of coins, so you have 3 in her crown. And here's the queen. Now, this was also a little bit confusing for me, is because the queen has more coins in her crown than the king does. Now, you can obviously tell the crown is higher, but there's more. These are bigger, but there's more. So what do you think? Do you think that this looks like kingly and this looks like a queen, or this? So yeah. And here's our Ace of Cups, and you have that downward facing triangle with no line. Here's the 2 of Cups, the 3, the 4, love that. He's holding on to his golden ball in the larger of the 4 cups here. It's the only reference that I am aware of to fairy tale. Love this. We have 5, so 3 are overturned and 2 still stand, but the cat is not noticing that. And then you have your unicorn here for the 6, kind of talking about nostalgia and fantasy and story. 7 of Cups. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we have our 7 dots here. Just, you know, flowing in and out. And which one are you going to drink from? And also wishes. 8, and these look like perfume bottles, and there's different, like this one seems more full than others, so leaving behind something that's not terrible, but something that you need to move beyond. Here we have our 9 of Cups. I just love how lazy this cat looks and just completely content. And here you have your 10 overflowing cups, and you have your swan family. And final quartz, you have, like, you can see the water here, and then here you have your downward triangles. The jester, I believe the Prince of Cups, and I also see scorpions here as well. And a crab here for the Queen of Cups, and King. So there's a lot going on in the crown here as well as around the neck, and you have your waves here as well. All right, so that is the deck, the tarot, and now I'm going to just basically I'm not even going to say what each card is because I don't have that memorized yet, but it's easy to look up because there's only 30 of them. And then you can just flip through the little guidebook here, find it, and then you can access the Grimoire from there. There you have it. You have your Oracle and your Tarot. Now, I am going to attempt to shuffle this, of course, as I said, overhand. Not too bad. Don't think I'll be able to shuffle it on the side here. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can. See, not terrible. I think I might do that too and just kind of switch it around so that not one side gets overused or bent, creased. And I'm gonna pull a card from the tarot. I don't mind black edging. That might have been from my fingernail though as I was shuffling. Black edging because you can always touch it up with Sharpie. I don't mind that at all. So let's think about what this deck has in store for us or what we need to know today. Take a deep breath. What do we have to harvest? What have we planted that needs tending to or that needs attention to make sure that it grows fully? Love those pumpkins, and that's perfect for this time of year, if I say so myself. So let's take a look at the little guidebook. Okay, sigil affirmation is: attend to the seeds of my investments with faith and patience, upright, planning and investment, effort, mundane but necessary work, perseverance and maintenance. And then the reverse would be bad investments, giving up, lazy efforts, impatience, and frustration. So of course it doesn't say anything in here about the symbolism, but let's take a quick look at the Grimoire. There it is. And the 7 of Coins. Now you have your information here, or like it's a little poem, but then you have your affirmation here. I tend to the seeds of my investment with faith and patience, which was the same as the book. And it says, the beginning is no more set in stone than an end. If our course be altered, we have the power to mend. Yet mending takes time and work, and still more, and only done well when ourselves we implore. So you have to rely on yourself. It talks about an overview, upright and reverse meanings, what the sigil can do, sustaining energy to perform mundane but necessary tasks. And then you have the coins and what the Celtic knot. So let's take a look here. What this symbolism is right here and what that means. It's an ancient pattern that speaks to the continuity and connectedness of all things. We have our brooms. Wow, lots on the brooms. When it's upright, these brooms serve as a reminder that although the mundane upkeep of physical and psychic spaces can feel like drudgery, it ultimately serves as an essential part of our escape from spiritual or physical poverty and our eventual rise into abundance. Wow. When this card is reversed, it is a sign that our investments are not yielding satisfactory results. We feel drained, frustrated, and impatient. Wow. So here's the pumpkins. Represent growth, fertility, abundance, wealth, prosperity, protection, and earthly connection. And then it talks about the colors green, orange, and brown. Green is the color of growth, abundance, and prosperity, indicated by the vines, and which brings a wealth of nutrients to the plant, enabling it to grow. Brown represents the stability and the grounding influences of practicality and domesticity, which the broom embodies. And when combined with the orange warm, stimulating power as represented by the pumpkins, it symbolizes the potential for great abundance stirring just beneath the surface. So you couldn't really see that, but it was up here. Wow. Gorgeous. So I am glad that I didn't make a rash decision and get rid of this, because I am really looking forward to this. This is right up my alley, just like the Children of Litha. So let's put it back in the box and see how, and so we can finish that ritual as I was talking about. So here's the tarot, and I'm going to put this down, and here's the oracle. And the book. So it kind of closes like that, and we just tie it nice and tight. And with our intentions, we say thank you for the advice, and we will see you next time. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye. As always, thanks for watching, and if you found value in this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more tarot-related content like this. Ring that bell to be notified whenever I upload new stuff, and don't forget to listen closely to the whispers of the heathen within that already has the answer and knows the path that's right for you. Until next time, be brave, be bold, be you. Bye.